Yeah, just another little chat about the things used to be as opposed to the way they are nowadays. Um, back in the 50s and 60s, the cars actually had some class to them. Every one of them had a little distinct design, but not so much anymore. You used to tell there was only like four major makers. Uh, you could tell your Fords from Chevys and AMCs, Dodges, all that, just at a glance. And you could see there because of different lines all the way. Now some may have had, like their what I call them cousins. Like the Chevelle, Oldsmobile 442, and the Cutlass, and the Pontiac, and the GTO, and all that. They were very similar in body style, but they were like I said, like I call them cousins because they were all basically the same. They're made by General Motors. And then the Fords, they had good distinct lines, and Chevrolets they did, and everything. They all had class. They all had, and it looked like they took time to make them. And they didn't just throw them together like these models that you snap together and put up on your shelf. Like that. They're very, very unique. But nowadays, you drive by a car lot, the cars are sitting there, and like people are catching a ride to go to work, and they're carpooling or what it reminds me of is a great big old Easter basket with a bunch of Easter eggs in it. The only difference really is the color, and not a lot of them are different. There's probably only like 5 or 6 basic colors that you find, and you can't tell the difference of one to the other unless you get up there and look at it. There's so many of them look so close to the same, and they're not even made by the same company. Now, if they've made by the same company, I can understand that. That would be right, but it ain't that way. And another thing too, now I'll get off one subject to another pretty fast here, but it's all relevant to me. They used to, you could buy a car for, when I got a service, a GTX new one would have been $4,400, and that was absolutely way beyond my reach. And a Cadillac, $7,000. But you take everything as relative, because back then when I got out of the service, I went to work my first job was $2 an hour. So at $2 an hour, it'd take a long time to pay off a $4,400 car, or by no means a Cadillac at that time. But see, things now have jumped way up there now. Cadillac, what are they? I don't know, 55, 60,000 or something, and everything. But a lot of people getting paid over $20 an hour, maybe a lot more than that. Most of them do. So I guess it's all relative. Things seem cheaper. Gas was like 35 cents a gallon back then, and now it's compared to the times, it ain't that unreasonable. I guess I think I last looked out here, it's 233. So for the cheapest stuff. Actually be 234 because they had that little 0.9 on there. I suppose that's supposed to make you think you're getting a real bargain, but anyway, I don't know why that's done. Anyway, that's the gist of the thing on the cars there. And another thing on along the same lines, really, but not exactly either, is the modern technology, like those cell phones I have, track phones, all I got. I don't need no fancy, what do you call them, smartphones, because I ain't smart enough to use it anyhow. All I want to do is call and make calls. I don't care about all that other stuff that you can do with them. I know it's pretty nice to have, and if you know what you're doing, it's fine, but I don't have that. As a matter of fact, I used to, I could get by with using the house telephone, or if I was on the road, I'd pull over and they had all kinds of phone booths. You could use a phone booth, which that's a rarity anymore. I guess you might see them once in a while, but not much. And then on the other hand, about the discipline of children, they used to, when I was a kid, well, if you was told maybe once, and if you didn't do that, you certainly didn't talk back. They only got like one chance for that. Or you got your bottom paddle, spank with your hand. Now that's not beating. I don't mean abuse, but not beating a kid up or anything like that. 1 or 2 little swats is all it ever took, not very hard at that. When they're young like that, they learn that didn't feel good. I don't want to do that no more, As they grow, they realize that there's responsibility that you have to take for your own self. Like a kid has to be respectful to other people, his parents, teachers, police. You can't go around back talking to everybody, because it's only going to cause yourself more trouble. More so before than now, because now they've got some pansy that nobody can do anything to you. If you're a crook, you're pampered, or if you're an illegal, you're pampered. But anybody actually trying to do something right and when I say play by the rules, I don't really like saying that, because I'm not too fond of some rules anyway. But then you get, now and then, like too, before, if you want to discipline a kid, the best way you can do, you can spank them. maybe a little switch. But now the only way it's acceptable seems like is to bribe the kid by telling them you're going to buy them a toy at Walmart if they be good. Now that may work until they get tired of that toy, then it's time to do this all over again. But that's not the way to handle it. You're not supposed to have to do things like that. You're not supposed to, pay bribes for your own child. And I know it's gotten bad. You can get in trouble for little as anything, and be turned into the state. That's not a good idea. I mean, I know there are some cases where it needs to be done. I definitely know that. There's kids who get beat up, and that's not right. I don't exactly know where it went wrong, but I guess maybe I keep saying society because there's everybody wants to make everybody so gentle and loved and all that, but some cases you still can love them, but children have to be taught, and they need to be taught young. And I can honestly say that my mom, and especially my mom, my dad, he didn't administer much discipline, but my mom did, and we respected her. And nobody could have loved their mom better than me and my brother and sisters did. Because one thing, not a one of us wound up in jail, ever. And you can't say that for a lot of people nowadays. Well, I know I'm rambling on here, and I guess it's probably not something anybody really wants to hear. So I guess we'll get off of here, and if you guys understand, I don't want to offend anybody, but if they are, that's just my feelings here, not theirs, and everything. So anyway, well, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.